Hey, hello, and welcome back to Good Knit Kisses. I'm your host, Kristen, and today, wow, this is a lot of light on my face. How are you today? It is a good Monday morning with Good Knit Kisses. I hope you are doing well and had a good weekend. I'm hopping on, I think a couple minutes late. Hold on one second. I got to turn off this light. I get my neck. There you go. Is it a lovely neck? It has been crazy at the Mangus house. Yes. We had some outages on our internet the last few days. Very strange. Trying to figure out what it is. And my internet was down earlier this morning and it only came on a few minutes before. And I was actually going to alternatively run to Michael's and broadcast from there and go shopping with you this morning. I don't know how y'all feel about that. Would you want me to go shopping with you one day if my internet's out? Anyway, good morning. I see some people starting to hop on. Let me get me a break here. Coffee break, everyone. Yeah, what would happen to us if we all had a sip of coffee anytime I said the word yarn or stitch or knit or something? How are you today? So I was sitting here having this debate. I'm like, do I go broadcast from like Hobby Lobby or Michael's or Joann's? And I was like, well, Michael's has Wi-Fi for me, and Hobby Lobby, I can never download their coupons very quickly there. Anyone else have that trouble? So, hello everyone jumping in. I'm just telling everyone I've had some internet issues. Good morning, Carol and Heather. Hi. Hi, Tamby and Liz. Hey, Eva and Kathy. Hey, Karen Sweet. I see you watching. And JJ's in the house. Hi. Hey, Teresa. She's in North Dakota. Awesome. Well, did you guys get to see some of the tutorials that came out over the weekend? I hope you did. We have a really fun modern twist on the dishcloth, that like a topper that you hang in your kitchen, but you make it as an entire towel, a new one. And actually, it is on needles, but we are working on it for the loom, and we've had several people ask on the video, so I know that you guys are all itching and waiting to find out if we'll have one. I got so backed up, I was not able to do it at the same time, so yes is the answer. Not today. But as soon as possible. So, yes, we will be doing that. You only need, you can use a loom that has, you can study it and convert it for yourself. Obviously, it's a seed stitch towel, and it's just using one strand of cotton. I used pretty much all. I think I used all of one for my main solid color of cotton of this Bernat Handicrafter. And then I had in the accent, I didn't use as much, but the same one in the accent color, which is like the topper part. So it's basically like a square, and then it starts changing color to a solid, and then it kind of goes up and has this little button flap. It's really nice. So I like it. I've been using it. In fact, I had a poll. If you're on Instagram, I have a poll going right now. Which one you like? If you prefer classic or modern, and I have a towel that has like crocheted topper on it. So it's like a hand towel that has been crocheted into the top of it, and it's kind of that classic look that many of you probably have one or several that were handed down, or you make your own. And actually for loom knitters, it's easy to do that kind of thing. You can just hang, once you have the holes in there, you can hang it right on your loom and start making it. So I'm probably going to show you how to do that. So, yeah. Okay. Liz says I did, but I got lost in the decrease. Yes. Because there's some slip knits and some knit two togethers. And, on the wrong side of your work on the loom, you are going to have to flip what the stitches say. So if it says P2 tog, that's purl two together, but on that you're actually going to knit two together. Actually, that one's a slip knit, I think. Yeah, in reverse. because you're on the opposite side. Anyway, I have to look at it. So anyway, I haven't even get to look at it. I've been so distracted with not having internet this morning, and I've only been barely looking at it. But I actually, Joanne on our team, she's not here right now. She's in the middle of something else, but she has started working on it and converting. She has been doing a lot of converting. So a round of applause for Joanne and making all that happen for Goodnight Kisses tutorials much quicker. And I have, let's just say, I have 14 loom tutorials, all like waiting. Like those are things that I have planned, loom knitting tutorials that are conversions from this past year. We've done several. I don't want to say how many we've done, but whenever I've done needle tutorials or hand knitting tutorials this year, we've been converting as many as possible as fast as we can, but I have like 14 more that I want to do. So, Alicia, are you having trouble with Facebook Live? I'm sorry. I don't really know. I had trouble with my internet this morning, so hopefully it's not on my end. If the internet goes down here, it could like totally disrupt this broadcast. Hopefully it doesn't. That or I'll be running off my data plan, which is what I've had to do most of the weekend. So, yeah, Teresa says, great. I love loom knitting tutorials. Okay. Let's see. Good morning, Angela. I see you jumped on. Smaya, hi. Hi, Myrna. Liz, I want you to do the loom knit. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm backed up. I'm trying to go backwards and say hello. Hi, Kristen. Karen, hi. Hi, Charlotte. How are you? And Debbie's on. Awesome. Okay, I got up. Liz says, hurry. I want to make a bunch for Christmas. Oh, Liz. Okay, I will hurry as fast as I can. I have another video coming out this Friday, which is needle knit, which you're going to be able to figure out pretty easily for the loom. So if you guys want me to concentrate more on the one for this past week first, rather than do the other one, I was going to try and just do a quickie loom version for the one that comes out this Friday, just so it can come out at the same time. Would you rather do the dish towel, or would you like the mystery easy thing you can probably figure out? The other one's just a quick receiving baby blanket. Like, it's, yeah, that's what it is. It's secret, not secret. I only say that because I think the loom knitters would rather me get this topper out, and because it would be a great hostess gift, or even just to freshen up what you already have, and you have people coming and you're like, I want this nice new cloth in my house. So I can work on that, no problem. Let's see. Hi, good morning, Sherry. I see you jumping on. Hi, Carol in South Carolina. Okay, good. Liz says no problems here on her Wi-Fi on the Facebook connection. Good morning. Okay, Maria would like to learn how to do the crochet towel tops. Well, I wasn't planning on doing some crochet towel tops, but I mean, I could maybe do some in the new year. I haven't planned any for the end of the year yet. But really it was the knit ones, because those are the ones that, yeah, that there's not as many knit ones, are there? They're mostly crochet, right? Hey, Susan, I see you jumping on. Hi, Betty. She's from Webster. Cool. Oh, Wisconsin. Awesome. Liz, thank you for asking about my hand. Yes, I believe that what it was is I sprained my thumb, and it is much better. I can tell that I'm having to still go easy on it, so I'm not wearing it. And if you see in my tutorials, I filmed all my tutorials even when I was in pain, like without the brace, so it took me a lot longer to do them, because I would like stop and then kind of just, you know, recoup and then do it some more. I just didn't want them in the tutorial, one, because it was really awkward to work with. It was just so hard, and I'm not used to that. And I know there are people who have to wear them all the time, and that's great. But in the video, I felt like I couldn't even show you what I really wanted to show you, because I was so caught up in the awkward. So, Anyway, it's hard enough like talking and filming at the same time, remembering all the things. So I was like, I'm not going to add to it with that. I was like, I'd rather be in pain than to feel like I don't know what I'm doing. So that sounds weird, but that was my choice. So yes, there is a way to do a topper on the loom, Maria. And I have something over here that I really wanted to put it in a video, but for you guys who join me faithfully, it's so easy. I mean, you can get a slip. It's a rotary blade that does like a slip cut. So instead of being like, you know, a round rotary blade that's like smooth, it skips. It basically has this little bitty blade and then another blade. And so there's like a gap between the blades. And then when you do your rotary blade across the top of your towel, first I would cut off the little fringy parts, right? So first you use a regular rotary and cut off the fringe of a towel. And then the next thing you use this slip, was it called? Someone on here is going to know what it is. It's like a slip cut rotary. Anyway, blade. I have one and I can't get to it because it's like the tripod's in the way of my legs. So anyway, you would cut that first with a rotary, a smooth one, and then you would cut one with the slip cut one. And I got mine at Joann's, and you could probably get them online if you can't go to the store, at joanns.com. I'll try and put one in my Amazon, store. I may have put one in my Amazon store. For you guys who don't know, I have my own link on Amazon. It's just for influencers. It's products that I recommend, and it doesn't cost you anything extra, especially if you have a Prime account. It's really awesome. So what it does is it supports the team at Good Knit Kisses. It supports me having Joanne, who helps me get these conversions done quicker, and she does all the website stuff. So really, if you guys want to support us while you're buying your gifts, that would be awesome. It's Amazon.com/shop/goodknit-kisses, I believe is the right one. I can come on here and put the link later. But basically, if you go there, then you'll see products that I recommend, and I'll be adding to that. Right now, it's stuff that I have personally used, and I can say, I love this, and this is really good. I'm adding things to that as well. Anyway, and then that slip cut thing. Oh, Liz, if she felt so bad, it made me cry for you. Thank you. That's so sweet. I just don't, yeah, it did really hurt, and it still is tender, so I'm trying hard. Good morning, Elizabeth, and hey, Lucine. Yeah, yeah, Liz, it was in a bad way, really bad for a while, and the last couple of weeks has been so much better. So, in fact, I was able to, I help on the weekends and our church like once a month in their video department, and I do what's called shading. And I have these 3 controllers that I have, like these 3 little controllers right here, and I have to go up and down on it, and then I have to go and do these time clocks and stuff. And I look at 3 different cameras, and I control the iris on them. And but the last time I did it, I had to wear my thing, and I didn't have to wear it this past time, which was really nice. And I wasn't having pain this time, so that was good. But if I'm having to knit a lot or even loom knit a lot, I'm having to wear it, and so it's awkward. Yeah, JJ, that's nice. You add the link. I'd love to check it out. Awesome. Yeah, I'll add it later. I believe it's amazon.com/shop/goodknitkisses. I believe that's the right link. You could check it out, and if it says it works, then that's it. So anyway, the slip cut rotary is what you would do if you want to make a towel topper. That's for needle or loom or crochet. I mean, you can just cut across the edge of something and make those little holes, and then you just pick up your stitches. Here's a really cool part. If you are on a knitting loom, you can pick up stitches real nice. You know how you pick up a stitch? If you've ever read a pattern that says pick up X amount of stitches, that's how you do it. You place your knitting back on to your loom. For this one, you would place the towel topper wherever you cut those holes onto your loom, and then you kind of just space them out, appropriately, and then pick up those stitches. And if you need to, and if the slip cut is kind of spaced out, you could just add them on to where, add them on as needed. And then if you need to like increase a couple of stitches to kind of, not make it so bunched up, then you could do that if your slip cut isn't as far set. I'm still learning about the slip cut rotary stuff, so I don't know how many different ways you can buy them or sizes, so go check them out. That's all. Yeah. So anyway, oh yeah, you're welcome. Oh, you're welcome, Maria, too. Elizabeth, yeah, I know how painful carpal tunnel can be. Take care of your wrist. Yeah, because I had wrist guards for both hands, both wrists at one point, and I don't know. I experienced like this miracle healing where I wasn't experiencing all that really horrible pain. Actually, my left was worse than my right. I know I've heard that from several people. I attributed it to making a ton of bows. I worked for MJ Designs, which is like Michael's Craft Stores. It used to be Michael's MJ Designs, and then they split. It was like two brothers. And so I worked for MJ Designs in their floral department, making tons of bows. I made car bows and stuff. And I was like holding on to it with my left hand, like super, super tight, and like, you know, your hands like all deformed. And like, I was doing that at Christmas time. I was originally hired in the holiday time, and it was hard work, I gotta say. So anyway, but then later on I realized, yeah, I have a problem. So, Maria says, one of your next videos? Yeah. Do you want to see that? Y'all want to see that slip cut thing on a video? Because I was thinking I can show you how to do the loom video with making that new modern one on the loom, like it's just identical. But I was thinking I can show you like how to cut across it and then pick up the stitches and make just a topper, which would be quicker for you for gifts, for Christmas gifts. And you could take your, in fact, at this time, this would be a great time to stock up on these, but like the Bernat Handicrafter Holidays yarn, if you go on my website, go to the Santa Mug Hug, has this yarn, and it even has this Bernat Pipsqueak, like the fuzzy stuff. But this Handicrafter Holidays, it comes in, this is white sparkles and red sparkle, and like see the sparkle that's in there. So if you're making like Christmas towel toppers, this would be a really good one to do. It has that extra little thread in it. It's really cute. So, and then for the other ones, I just used this Bernat Handicrafter cotton, which is basically the same thing. Well, no, it's not really the same thing. This one has a little bit of a twist extra, but I think that's just because it's been wrapped with that metallic thread. So anyway, this is what I used. You can use any, cotton, but I use this one. It feels really good. In fact, you might like it so much and then finish out the seed stitch in just a regular cloth and make some partner things. So like maybe you want a small dishcloth that doesn't have the topper on it, just for using at your sink or even in your bathroom. So yeah, that would be a good one to do. Oh, Liz. Yeah, you had one too in MJ Designs in Maryland years ago. Love that store. It was really a great store. I love that store. It closed down when there was a Hobby Lobby that opened, like just down, not Hobby Lobby. I'm so sorry. Garden Ridge. Do y'all remember Garden Ridge? So MJ Designs, the shopping center I worked in, it was in Hurst, Texas. And there was a Barnes & Noble, and there was a Blockbuster Music. Does anybody remember Blockbuster Music? That was cool. I mean, you go in and just listen to your CDs, You could listen to 1,000 songs, but you had to go all those different kiosks. Anyway, so I worked down the street from them. Barnes & Noble became really huge down here. I understand that Barnes & Noble was actually big before they came to Texas, but by the time they came to Texas, everybody's like, oh, we have Barnes & Noble, And anyway, so I worked there, and then Garden Ridge opened up, and it was like, the conglomerate came in. It was like the feeling when you would live in a small town, and then mom and pop shops would close because Walmart came into town. That was how it was. And then it became like a ghost town in there, and then only people were going to Garden Ridge, and we're like, we have to shut the store down. So, yeah. Sorry, I'm totally not talking about knit and crochet today. If you're joining me, you're like, what is this all about? She's just chatting about stores. Debbie, yes. Thank you. That blade also works great on fleece to do the holes around the edge and then crochet around it. Yes. Actually, and I have a pattern I've been dying to show you guys using fleece. Would you guys be interested in seeing fleece done in something that would make a quick shawl rather than just knitting or crocheting it up? So I actually bought them for a video last year and I never got to it. So I was like, do I do it this year? Because I was like, do I do it in the middle of the year when it's not appropriate? So I've been kind of waiting again just because I got so busy. So I'm seeing a bunch of loves and likes fly across the screen. So it sounds like that's a good one to do. Yay! Beverly says, how can I start this hobby? I like this, but don't know how. Beverly, I'm so glad you asked. Okay, so now are we talking loom knitting and knitting or whatever? If you go to Good Knit Kisses website, goodknitkisses.com, there are a ton of different things you can look at, different projects and things, and just kind of scroll through the blog and pick one that you think is appealing to you and kind of click on it. I'll have a video down at the very bottom of each blog, and excuse me, all at least the ones from this last year. And I'm working on getting more attached to the other blogs, but it'll take you to a video on my YouTube, which is youtube.com/goodknitkisses, just like this name here. Instead of good night, it's Good Knit Kisses. Loom knitting is great. A great way to start is getting like a multi-pack with a few round looms and just knitting in a circle and just continuing that and making a long scarf, or just knitting, for about a hat length size, and then and working that. I have a video on how to make a cocoon, like a baby cocoon, and it's basically the same like for a hat as well. It's just a real simple pattern, and that's how a lot of people start off with loom knitting. But there's thousands of ways you can use a loom, and you can get really, really complicated, or you can get really, really simple, and it's really nice for your hands. I use the word really a whole lot. It's great if you experience some dexterity issues, or you've had some kind of pain in your experience before in learning to knit or crochet. Loom knitting is really great for that. Oh, Shelly says she has no problems with Facebook there. Okay, good. Thank you for checking in on those. Yes, yes, yes. I'm seeing all the yeses for the fleece stuff. Martha, okay, hello. Different colors, would you just... Okay, wow, okay. Martha's question, hello, when shopping for yarn on average, how many different colors would you suggest picking up? It depends on your project. How many? I've had shopping sprees where I bought way too much yarn. Okay, is there really such a thing? But yeah, I picked up for several projects. The problem is if I don't stop and write down what I was going to do and which ones and kind of put them together, then what happens is I kind of lose that drive to make that project. And so lately I've been buying what I need on a project, which is harder to do when you're in the store and when there's all this really fun yarn. However, I'm in a unique position where I get some of this yarn sent to me, and so they are for specific projects. But when I actually shop now, I really try to stay in my own lane and buy what I need, but it's hard. I still end up with extra stuff. But how many of the different colors just depends on your project. And if you're not sure, get your yarn out and look. You know what I like to do is I like to put my yarn on end and see what all the colors look like all smushed together and really kind of see. And then if you're not sure, go to Pinterest, go to the Pantone site, go to places that talk about color theory to get ideas for the type of color scheme that you want to use, and see if you want to work with 5 colors, work with 5 colors. Yeah. So I like looking at, look at analogous color patterns, look at monochromatic, look at tertiary, like look at your tertiary colors and go look at a color wheel and see, and it'll show you like what colors kind of fall on that. And then when you shift them over on a color wheel, like what new color patterns fall together, and you'll see what kind of works together. And then when white is added, which is actually called tint, when white is added, it makes them all, it kind of dilutes them a little bit in some white. And so you might end up liking that a little bit more, or if a little black is added or brown, you know, it can kind of deepen that color palette. And so just shifting some things, that's fun to just play with. And you can do that in the store with your yarn. And I do that. I set them end on my basket. And that's how I pick colors sometimes, is I just play in the yarn section. So, that's kind of what I do. Thanks, Carol, for that link. Yeah, Shelly says, I learn best from watching tutorials. Do you want to learn how to read patterns though? Yeah, and that's a great point. Shelly, I have a lot of, for those who are looking at this and wondering about making things, especially this year, I have really focused on talking about the pattern, making patterns from beginning to end, and also converting stuff. So like if you are loom knitting and you've seen these needle knit videos, and you're like, well, how do I do that? There are ones where I take that same pattern and I convert it, and I'll say, okay, now here on row, blah, 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 we're doing this. And if you treat them as a classroom setting and not so much like, I just want to get this project done, if you'll treat it like that and use them as a learning experience, maybe you don't make the whole project. Maybe you make a small sample. Maybe you're just listening to it and kind of getting an idea, and then compare, like have the printed needle pattern and then see what I'm doing and hear what I'm saying about what I'm doing on that row that's different than it is on needles. And then that's a really great learning experience for when you grab a pattern. And be sure and read the number one thing on a pattern: read everything. That's what you do first. You read everything and then kind of stare at those sections that you're having a little difficulty with, and kind of go back and forth. Sometimes in patterns, it's a little confusing because what they'll do is they'll write that maybe there's different stitch patterns that are used throughout the whole pattern. And then what they do is a pattern might talk about, okay, we're going to do the seed stitch here. It says seed stitch pattern. Okay. And we're going to do this tweed pattern. And here's now this other pattern. And people are like, but where do I start? Well, actually, you go fast forward past all that and you look down, and then it says instructions. And then it says, do 8 inches of seed stitch here, you know, like cast on this and then do 8 inches of seed stitch. And then it'll say, okay, now do this and then go to this section. And so it makes the instruction side a little shorter. And then you're just referring to that other stitch pattern to do that in that section. So anyway, Shelly, excuse me. Oh, Shelly. She's like, too much yarn. Her emoji. You can never have too much yarn. That's true. Hey, Louisa. Oh, my sister-in-law is watching. Yeah, you can never have too much yarn. It's like, are you kidding me? I have yarn coming out my ears. There's like yarn on yarn on yarn. There's there's stuff down here. I mean, this is like 2 feet off the floor, and I'm grabbing. I could grab anywhere, and there's yarn. I mean, I grab to my left, to my right. I grab back here. There's more yarn hiding behind here. You can't even see. There's some cashmere up there. You can kind of see some. It's everywhere. Plus, we had a local yarn shop close. I got yarn for 50% off. That's like cashmere. And dang it, no, I got one at 60. And then the next weekend they were continuing. They're like 70% off, and I'm like, shoot. But I got a lot of needles and supplies for really great deals, so that was really nice. Thank you, Debbie. No, I don't, Diane. I do not have any tutorials on how to make baby dolls. However, you will find that I have a lot of technique videos, and so if you get stuck on a pattern that there's no video for, go and look up what that stitch is. Check me out. Check out other YouTube videos. You can always type Good Knit Kisses and then whatever it is you're trying to find, or go to on YouTube. If you go, it doesn't work quite as well on the mobile devices, but on a laptop or desktop, if you go to the actual YouTube channel that you want to see if they have the tutorial, like any YouTubers. Okay, there is a search area that's just on their YouTube page. So up top is a search area, but down below on that person's YouTube page, like mine is youtube.com/goodknitKisses. If you go on there to that part and you type in a little keyword, all the videos that are related will pop up. So anyway, if you're having trouble with the stitch, be sure and go there first. My page or any other YouTuber that makes videos like that. If you're needle knitting, also Very Pink Knits is good. If you don't see it on my channel, go look on her channel. She's a master knitter. So, and love Stacy's videos. So, yeah. Thank you, Debbie. That's so sweet. Hi, Dawn. I see she's watching. Marcia says, I love the basket storage behind you. How do you keep the yarn from getting snagged in there? Good question. I don't keep as much yarn in there, actually. In one of them, I've got a bunch of ruffle yarn, just because they don't stay, they don't behave as well in little bins like this. But what I do keep in there are things like, I have my Kiss Loom parts, because they're smaller. Not all the Kiss Loom stuff will fit in there, but I have Kiss Loom stuff in there. And one of them I have all my blocking supplies, like I have my T-pins and my my soak, which is the stuff I use for blocking. Like I wash the stuff, and then I don't keep my basin in there. But what else do I have in there? I have my knit blockers, which I love. Knitter's Pride has these amazing knit blockers. I also have that white thing you see poking out is actually some styrofoam. It's like a styrofoam comb that I meant to make for a tutorial just for a fun thing, but I never did. What else do I have? Oh, this one has some little small knitting board stuff. So I keep like small stuff in here, or like related stuff, like so I don't lose it. So my double knit loom, this rotating double knit loom, is down here on the floor because I've used it. Like I need to grab it really easy, but I put the book in here, so like related stuff to a particular loom company, I'll do that. But I keep my big stuff in like these big bins. I don't have wall space enough. I'm kind of crammed in here in this room, so I don't have wall space to have a big pegboard and hang them. So I keep them in these hard bins, and then I have some of them like kind of stacked on each other, and they're sort of categorized in the different big bin. I have several big bins. I wish I could grab everything and show you what is in all of them, but they're all like kind of different. One of them is just actually, here's a great idea. Go to your local paint store and get one of those swatches of paint, the big stack of paint, paint swatches. It's like a rainbow deck of all their colors. So a deck of paint. And that's really good for it can be really good for planning colors, or to see what one color looks like in different values. And like, say you want to work on something that's in one color range, but you want to see what those values look like. You can take that to a paint store, like go get that from a paint store, and you can take that when you're working on your yarn to work on different color schemes. So yeah, it's like a bunch of paint chips all in one deck. It's like this big. Anyway, that's what I like to do. And so I keep a couple of them in there. So, I also use that for interior design stuff, but yeah, it is helpful, especially if you need help, picking things like that. Thank you, Lynn. She likes my background. It's always changing too. It depends on what I'm working on or what I have just worked on. Thank you for the link, Carol. Okay. I wonder why it gives that extra digit on there. I think you can just do it by just saying Amazon.com/shop/goodknitkisses. I think that also works too. For some reason, it's adding all that extra stuff in there. But Carol, thank you so much for putting that on there. I really appreciate it. Yeah. What else? If you see something that is not in my recommended stuff, let me know about it. I'd like to find out if there is if there's a kit of some sort, like a loom thing or something that I don't have in there, and you want to know and you want me to review it. Oh, last time we had some people say, hey, I would love for you to get some craft kits up at, Michael's or Hobby Lobby or whatever, and look at them on camera and open them up and try and figure them out. Like Loop to Loom, I think is the name of the one. It's at Michael's, and we had some people express that they wanted me to show how to do it. And I said, well, I've never done it before. And if I bought the kit, then I would have to like figure it out. And some people were like, yeah, and I'd like you to do it on camera live. And I'm like, that's a little intimidating, but maybe I could. So, yeah, if there's something specific that you want me to try, I can run out to Michael's and go get one of those and then feature it on Good Knit Kisses. Obviously, I'm not being endorsed by the company because this is like completely like, whatever. So if you guys want me to open it up and see it, I can. I know that several of you guys are stuck at home for whatever reason during the day, and maybe can't travel as easy and buy everything online or most things online, or or don't have the opportunity to get out and get it. So I would be happy to do that for you and check it out. So just let me know. Send me a note or put it in on here and be like, hey, can you review this? Antoinette, let me read what she's... Okay. Okay, I'm gonna have to read that again. I'm not sure. Okay, so Antoinette was asking about doing squares in a simple cast on a 30 stitches. It was a blanket. Okay, you're probably talking about the how to knit video. That was a how to knit blanket. I think it was actually called how to knit blanket. It's a bunch of squares and they're put together. You can do that on the loom. Are you looking for it on the loom? I did it on needles, but I think it was a cast on, I don't know why I remember, but I think it was a cast on a 30 stitches. And it's basically a garter stitch blanket, and you make the squares, and then there's like 3 different colors, and you quarter turn and rotate them and put them, lay them all out, and then you do this seaming on them. The same seaming applies if you do it on the loom as if you do it on needles. So part of that video would work, so if you just make a bunch of squares, no matter what their size is, and do that. So that was one of the ones that I was going to do a video on as well. You cannot find the pattern. Okay. You saw me in a blanket, 30 cast on, each square was 12 inches, cannot find the pattern. Yes, that is how to knit. I'm looking for the thing. If you go, okay. Okay, sorry, I just got a text message from my pastor. I'm like, oh. If you go to goodknitkisses.com and go to the search bar for how to knit blanket, you'll find a blog for that and a link, and you can click on that link to get that pattern, and it'll go to the Yarn Inspiration site to find it. So if you're not finding it on Yarn Inspirations, go to my channel and find it, because I also have the video on there and all the things. So, April, anyone know how to block an entire blanket as in one big piece? Yes. April, it is a little harder to do depending upon your, depending upon what you have, like acrylic, like if it's acrylic or if it's wool or whatever. If it's something that's machine wash or dryable, if you go ahead and wash it in the delicate cycle, and then it will wring itself out, in the tumble. But pull it out and make sure it's nice and wrung out, all the water, just squeeze, don't, twist, but just kind of squeeze and get all that out, but it's still nice and wet. Then you can lay it out, and then, and block it. I've seen people, it takes longer, okay, it takes longer to dry, but if you can lay out on a large bed, if you have pets, it's harder. You might have to like do it in a room and close the door, but like, if you have a big room where you can just, you wouldn't have a couch that's big enough. But anyway, I've seen people do it on beds where they like lay out a bunch of towels and then lay the blanket on there and then use your T-pins. The T-pins need to be rust proof. Whatever you're putting it in, the T-pins need to be rust proof, and then they go in there and then they pull everything out. I use these things called knit blockers. They're kind of expensive though. It's like having a bunch of T-pins in one thing. So there's like several of them, and it's got a little holder on the top, and you go chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. They work really fast and well for me. However, the best way to block is, well, the way I like to block is I put it on my table, and then I have, you can buy knit blockers, but I actually got my kids' letters that they don't use anymore, those big foam letters. You can get them all kinds of places. You can even put together kits. I actually have a couple of different ones. I have like some weird Disney one, and then I have the ones where the letters pop out, and they're all basically the same as knit blocker ones. They're thin, and so I don't worry about it. I just tilt my pin sideways, and then I can actually pull on the fabric a little bit more. So check out my wet blocking video, and I talk about some of this stuff. I'm a big fan of wet blocking, not necessarily steam blocking. You can steam block it, but you can kill an acrylic really fast if you put too much heat on it. It can make, basically what it does is it like makes it sag out, and then it looks weird because it's almost like melting it, sort of. It's like and it's inconsistent and it looks bad. And so I hate for you to kill your project. Anyway, so, but those blockers can be very expensive to purchase, especially if you're doing a large blanket. That's why I'm like, lay it out on your bed. And then you would lay some towels out to kind of help absorb that. And then you pull on it. If you want to just spread it out on your bed, it just helps make it, consistent. If it's just, like an edging and the whole thing looks really nice, you can block just the edging. You don't have to block the entire blanket. So if the edge is what's giving you a problem, then just wet the edges. Wet in like 6 inches or so, and then put a blocker underneath it, or put like one of those foam boards underneath it. Not a fiber board, like a cardboard foam board. I mean like one of those foam letter block things. What are they called? Anyway, those are another way to do it. Let's see. Late to the party. Hi, Robin. I'm doing well. How are you? Cool, April. Cool. Okay, lap gam for your grandmother. That's good. Jean says, how do you keep your edges from curling while loom knitting? I'm using an E-wrap stitch. Okay, I'm over halfway through and need ideas for the border. Okay. Yes, if you are E-wrapping an entire project, it will curl. An E-wrap is a type of knit stitch, and the knit stitch is a stocking knit. You know how like you have pantyhose, and if you cut on the end, it'll roll down. Or even like knee highs, you know how like if you have your knee high and it gets overstretched and then it like slowly starts, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have, my legs are showing, you know. I don't wear pantyhose anymore, but back in the day, it's a stocking knit. Stockings are all one stitch and they all curl the same way. So to fight that, you have to have some purl stitches in there to help that. And then the edging, that's why you'll see garter stitch edges, or a seed stitch border, or a ribbing border, a moss stitch border, those kinds of things on edges of things like on sweaters, or you'll see a hemmed thing, like those hemmed brims where you fold up the brim in a hat and then start sewing. That's because it's making this edge. You can also do that after the fact. Like if you want to, you could fold the edges in and sew them. I personally don't like the hemmed thing. I like them for very limited things, especially on a blanket. However, cool thing is you can add an edging very easily. And really cool thing, if you will go and look at loom knitting, and I'm going to be putting, by the way, I'm going to be putting the needle and the loom tutorial up today for our Good Knit Kisses stitch along group. And also I'll be putting it on this website, on this Facebook page, the stitch along week 2 video. Last week we had clue 1. Now we're going to be having clue 2. We've already done the stitch along back in October, but we're going to be doing it again, and we have a group going on. But anyway, when we get to week 5, which you can still find on YouTube, when we get to week 5, you will learn how to add a panel to another panel. And you use that thing, and when you get to week 6, you'll see only doing just a border edging, and so it will really become clear, okay, this is how I do it just for 1. The instructions for doing it are already on my website for clue 6 or week 6 of the Bernat Blanket Stitch Along. So that's a very long-winded answer to say you can add your own added edging to fight that bending. Okay. And it could be any edge. Say you just really like this particular blanket, the sides of a blanket, or you want to hang, maybe you want to do a ribbing. You want to go back into a ribbing on it and you didn't do that before, you can totally do that. You can do a garter stitch edge. What it does is it grabs, let me see if I don't have a knit panel. Okay. I'm knocking off stuff. But basically you would take your work and like you would put your panel in here and then you would hang, the stitch at the side, like just 1 or 2 side stitches on your panel, or whatever you're using to connect. And you would work it back and forth, your garter border, and then you would grab this one stitch to connect to it. So by the time this came off the loom, it's however wide a border you created. I hope I'm not saying that in a very convoluted way, but basically you can do it. Let's see. Sorry, I'm reading some of y'all's comments here. Hey, Summer, I see you hopping on. Hey, Deetra. Let's see. What questions do we have that I'm missing? I hope that answered your question. Y'all hit that love button if that made sense. But click on, go on goodknitKisses.com on the search thing. Go to Clue 6 for the Bernat blanket stitch along, or you can just write Clue 6. It should pop up. And there'll be instructions on the knitting loom down at the bottom on how to connect it. Because what we did is we did a free loom along while we were doing the stitch along. And we added that to the bottom when we did a live video. So there is a video that was live at the time. It's a replay now on how to do that. Okay, so Gwendolyn, she says, what's the easiest way to teach her 9-year-old son how to knit? He's interested, but to follow me is difficult. He usually ends up sad and tearful because he just can't get it by following me, or maybe a loom or whatever. Okay, sorry, cut off the rest of what you said. Yeah, Gwendolyn, you know, it's really funny. Okay, I'm serious. This is really what I've done with my own kids. My kids listen and watch me recorded better than me live in front of them. Now, that's because they're my own kids. I've actually taught other kids like side by side, like, and they're like, oh, and what about this? And they ask me questions and stuff, but it's totally different when I talk to my own kids. And I'm telling you, it's like, I don't know. It's like that teacher mom syndrome thing. Like, you know, they're harder on themselves than they would be anyway, but it's so funny. They change their attitude when they listen to me. So anyway, I've put on my beginner needle sitter series, which goes intentionally slow. So if you're wanting him on needles, or he wants to be on needles, go to my my beginner series, and I have a playlist of it. And so if he gets stuck, he can just pick up from there. You also have a history. I don't know if you know, but if you're signed into YouTube, there's a history folder where you can see videos that you've seen before. So once you played that and you need to find it again, you can go in there. What was I going to tell you? And then loom knitting, we have a whole series of loom knitting, a playlist of beginner videos for that. Making a hat would be a great way to start. And then there's some crochet stuff. Now, the beginner crochet stuff that I have is Mikey at the Crochet Crowd. Years ago, I put videos on his channel and he put videos on my channel for each other. And so some of those teachings are on my channel are actually Michael talking about how to do that. And so his beginner series is him talking on my channel. So, let's see. I hope that helps you, Gwendolyn. Write me some questions offline if you have any other questions, but that should work for you. Martha says, when blocking, can you use a spray bottle to wet items? Absolutely, you can do that. Yes. Oh my goodness, I have not checked this out. However, when I was on the Knit and Crochet Now show, we were recording. Vanessa Wilson with Crafty Gemini blew my mind. She gets this thing out. She's like, oh, I'm going to block real quick. And I was like, oh, okay, the steamer's set up in the other room, because you can steam your stuff. You just have to be careful. And she's like, oh no, I found this really quick way to block something small and quickly. And okay, so the makers of Soak, which is that thing that I use for blocking, it's like a leave-in type of detergent. My words are escaping me. But you wash it. It's like a lingerie wash kind of thing, but for your knits, and then you soak it in there and then stretch it out. Anyway, the makers for Soak, they make something else. I don't know what the name of it is, but they make something else that's for fabric and it's a spray. And I need to ask Vanessa. I'm going to ask her again, what is that stuff? But it's from the same makers of it. So check out the thing Soak and see who the manufacturer is of it, Soke. And then there's some kind of spray like to set it, and she uses it, and it blocks really fast. It's meant for like quilting and stuff, but I'm like, why have they not shown knitters this stuff? So basically it blocks it for you. She uses it when she's trying to, instead of pressing some of her edges on stuff, I think. So anyway, I'll have to find it. I'm so shocked that Dietrich's on here. I don't know if she's still on here. Hit me love if you're on here watching. John says, looms are great. Yeah, for anyone to learn. Both my children learn to make a hat. Not as... Yeah. Oh, and your autistic son does as well. Awesome. Yeah, Dawn, I love the loom for that. I really do. And I'm a believer in asking them which one they wanted to see, because, or which one they wanted to do. Because my son shocked me when he first wanted to learn. I thought he was going to want to do what I was working on at the time, because that's usually what he ends up doing. And then he said that he really wanted to learn knitting. And I'm like, oh, okay. I thought he was wanting to do crochet. And he did pretty good. He did pretty good. He's put it down, but he's 7, and we'll see if he picks it back up. I leave it in the our room where we watch TV, just out where he can see it. Like, it's ready for you when you're ready. I try not to pressure them because they feel like it's a work thing when I do it. So, I don't want them to feel like I'm trying to make them like be a sweatshop or something. Like, my daughter's like, she does like to do it, but every now and then I'm like, oh, why don't you pick up your stuff? And she's like, I'm not going to have a business out of this like you do. Like, but it's so fun. You don't have to have a business. It's just fun. I see my husband's watching. He's giving me these emojis, the laughing ones. Hi. Hi, babe. Let's see. You're having trouble with Bernat Pop Shawl where the knit elastic stitches place marker. My marker is not ending it before the 6 stitches. I need to go check that video. I think in that video what you have to do is you have to move the stitch over one, if I remember correctly. It has to be moved. There is a part in the video that I do talk about it. So you may have to just play it and listen to it and see if you can hear that part. I'm sorry, I don't know what part that is. But I think that pattern, Alicia, is one where you have to move it at some point. And I talk about where it's easier to just pick that stitch and move it over, because it grows as it goes, I think. Anyway. Robin says, Gwendolyn, my oldest son, learned to knit at 10 years old. He's the one who got me into it. That's awesome. Karen says, I love seeing your reviews about looms. Is how you buy your loom. So thanks. Oh, thank you, Karen. I love doing loom reviews. I love getting the new looms. I mean, man, it's really fun. It's really fun. There are looms out there that I haven't tried. So, I'm open to testing other things. There have been some looms that I've gotten that I don't show, on camera just because I don't necessarily enjoy using them, or there was a challenge. But there are other looms that you don't see, and it's just because I have too many looms to use. And sometimes what I do is I try to use on camera what I think is easily, readily available for people to get, because in times where I've used something that's harder for somebody to get, then it actually makes it harder for me. Like, cause then I've got to respond to all those questions and go, okay, you can go here. And like, I don't need to be a shopping buddy. I need to like continue working on the videos for you guys. So anyway, that's why I try and make it easier on what you can find. Thank you, Janice. I'm so glad that you joined us today too. Thank you for the stitch along clue, Carol. Thank you. I'm so behind in my comments here. Yeah, Dawn says it's always different when we try to teach our own children. I had them watch your videos. Awesome, Dawn. I'm glad I could be there for you. I have to be there for myself, for my own kids. My videos. I've let them what, I don't care. I'll show them anybody's video. But my video, because I was like, well, I'll try my videos first just because I know my content and I know what, I've taught, and I can say, okay, let's do this. But if it didn't work for them listening to me, I would totally show them somebody else. Of course, I'm confident that nothing that I say on camera is ever going to be like, weird, like as far as like, for young ears goes. So you never know. Some channels will say stuff and you're like, oh no. So anyway, hi, Lysandra. I just saw you on here. So thank you, Gwendolyn. Thank you. Okay, soak wash collection smoothing spray. Thank you. That's it, Dawn. I think it's smoothing spray. Yeah, and I was like, why do I not have this stuff? So I totally forgot to go get some. Martha found that looming is a great way to relax. Yeah, absolutely. And lose weight. What? That doesn't help me. Angela, my YouTube name is Good Knit Kisses, like good night kisses, but Good Knit, Knit, instead of night. Thank you. Yeah, be sure, and if you're not to subscribe to anybody else, if you'll go and hit subscribe and hit that bell icon for alerts. So if I have a new video coming out or I go live on there, you can join me. So, yeah. On the Kiss Loom, I don't know which one to buy. I would be, you would want to make mini blankets. Okay, Lori, it also depends on the gauge that you want to do, because there are adjustable gauge, but depending upon kind of the range of needle sizes and stuff that you want, would depend on which one you get, but also how big you want to do. If you want to do smaller panels and sew them together, that's one thing. Or if you want to get it as big as you can get, then that's a totally different thing. Go to kiss-looms.com, go on their website and check them out. I don't know if she still has it on the dash or not, if it's kisslooms.com as well, but kiss-looms work. And then she has a Facebook group that you can join, and they're super supportive, like really supportive. And Kelly, who's owner, is very hands-on, and some of her admins sometimes join us in here. So if they're in here, they're welcome to, give you that. I think Carol may be in their group as well, and she can give that Facebook link if you want. But yeah, she's... Kelly, the owner, will help you find your fit for Kiss Looms. There's a lot of information on her website, but sometimes just asking the questions on her page is very helpful. And other people on there, her other admins on there, can help you as well. Kiss Looms are really great for keeping your stitches consistent too. And if you like doing a lot of stockinette stuff with a cool border and stuff, oh my gosh, it flies. Like stockinette on a Kiss Loom flies. It is so fast. And it's really consistent. So if you're not as consistent about your stitches and you want something nice and smooth, check out Kiss Looms. And you can do all kinds of like really beautiful things on Kiss Looms. I'm just going to say, Joanne, our assistant here at Good Knit Kisses, she is out today. And normally she'd be piping up by now and be like, oh my gosh, I love my Kiss Looms. So, that has actually helped her better. She can't even hold regular looms very well, but, for a period of time due to her, hand dexterity and stuff issues, but the Kiss Looms have been a godsend for her because she used to knit and crochet and all that stuff beforehand, and now this is what she exclusively uses. So let's see, what is the question? Thank you, Carol. Kiss Looms group Facebook link is down in the comments below. Alicia says, would you do a granny square stocking, or can you do on a needle square stocking? I'm not going to be making one. Are you asking me to make one for this season? I might be able to make something for next season, but I've already kind of got the rest of my year planned out, so I won't be able to do that. But I'm sure that there are a lot of cute ones on Ravelry and stuff to find. If there's something that you found from Yarn Inspirations that you want me to check out, be sure and let me know. If you go on yarnspirations.com, there's a great way to sort. They come out with like 500 patterns a year. And if you don't know, I am one of the teachers for Yarn Inspirations. It will be next year. We're in the middle of all that, but I should still be on for next year. And if you find a pattern on Yarn Inspirations that you want either converted to the loom or you need it done on needles and you'd like a tutorial, please let me know. Or if there's just a difficult spot in one that you're like, oh, can you make a quick video on this? Let me know and I'll see what I can do. Just write me on Good Knit Kisses Facebook page here. There's a message system. If you can write in that message system, it's very helpful for me. I like that for my Facebookers. It's very helpful. I like that actually better than email. I just do. Yeah. So, and then if you can give me a link, it'd be helpful. Kisslooms.com. Is that the right website? It should be, April. Awesome. Way to go, Karen. Okay, well, we're hitting it right at 10 o'clock, and I'm so glad that you guys joined me today. If you have any more questions, just send them to me or write them in here, and, tag me right at Good Knit Kisses to tag me so I see it. Let's see if there's anything else to do for today. Be sure and check out that video that came out. Remember, every Friday we have a new tutorial, and every Monday we come out with a feature technique tutorial, and we do one on loom on Sunday and one on needle on Monday afternoon. So tune in for more videos by subscribing at Good Knit Kisses YouTube channel and hit that alert button, as well as on Facebook here. If you want to be part of the Stitch Along group, we've got it linked somewhere on this page. And keep watching for that. And we have Good Knit Kisses Stitch Alongs. You can type them in the search bar for Facebook. My husband is giving me all kinds of love on Facebook, little emojis right now. It's so funny. Anyway, I'm so glad you guys joined me today. I love it. You have a great week. And have a great day. Happy knitting and crochet. Bye, everyone.